Good morning. Welcome to Center Street Streetscape, Phase 2, project that is happening downtown Goldsboro, North Carolina. Glad you could be with us. Every 2 weeks, we'll be coming to you with video updates to tell you what's happening with our Streetscape project. Joining me today, I have Mark Beach. He is the project manager for TA Loving. I also have with me Julie Metz. She is the president of Downtown Goldsboro Development Corporation, and Randy Guthrie, assistant city manager. I'm Kim Best. Thank you for being with us, and today I hope you find out a little more about what's happening downtown Goldsboro. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
If you'll tell us a little more about the project in general, give us some start and finish dates, and why we're doing Center Street Streetscape.
Well, the Center Street Streetscape project is a culmination of a public input process from our master plan. It was adopted in 2007. It was identified as a high priority public investment project, and it's intended to spur economic development in the downtown. And many downtowns across the nation have experienced great success with these types of projects. In fact, one of my partners in Statesville, North Carolina, has just completed their Phase 2, and they had 20 new businesses open just after the Phase 1 of the project.
Oh,
and
wow.
we, when we completed Phase 1 in November 2012, since then we've experienced 25 new businesses downtown. So that's what the project is intended for. But our Streetscape project is rather large in scope. It's about 40% of the project is actually going to be taking underground with new utilities, and the remaining part is what you'll see above ground when it's finished. And so it's just intended to provide a better atmosphere and environment for the public, for the businesses, for consumers, and just people to enjoy the space downtown. So it's going to take place from, this Phase 2 is going to start in Mulberry Street and conclude on Spruce Street, which is 3 blocks of Center Street, moving southward from the first phase in front of City Hall. It's going to be about a 15-month construction project period.
From start to finish? From
start to finish, and we just started, TA Loving just started last week. So we're expecting November 2015 completion, just in time for our annual Lights Up festivities.
That's exactly right.
So, you know, we're really excited and glad to have Mark on board, and looking forward to moving this project forward.
Well, Mark, you all have done something very similar to this in Raleigh. Can you tell us a little bit about your participation there?
Yes, it was pretty much similar to the exact same thing we're doing here, other than they didn't have a road to begin with. It was a plaza that we went in and took the plaza out and created a road and parking on Fayetteville Street from the courthouse down to the convention center. And so it was a 4-block process, pretty much the same as far as putting in lighting. We didn't have to replace the utilities and put them underground because they were already there under the ground, but we did put up street lights, granite, same type of features as far as stools and seats for people to sit, and just pavers all down the sidewalk up to the businesses.
Well, it makes it mighty nice that we can go and look at the work that has happened there and sort of visualize what Goldsboro is going to look like downtown as well. So we're excited that you all have been through that process, and you can share with us the good, the bad, what happened, that, you know, we need to make changes moving forward, and how we can make our project as smooth as possible. Well, Julie, can you tell me a little more about when this entire project is complete in 15 months, what will downtown look like?
Well, it'll have much larger sidewalks. The sidewalks now are currently at 12 feet wide, and they're going to be nearly 20 feet wide, so there will be a lot more space for pedestrians, movements, and people to enjoy the outdoors. A lot of the restaurants, when we started allowing outside dining, I took advantage of that about 5 years ago, but they're going to have a lot more expansive space to be able to use for that. You know, sidewalk sales, things like that, so people can actually, you know, enjoy being outside in the space. We're going to have, a lot of our concern was addressing that human scale, because our street is so wide. The corridor is 140 feet from building edge to building edge. Wow. That was a challenge in trying to create a more or improved human scale and how your relationship to the built space. And so we put large shade canopy trees down the center median to help, you know, eventually when they grow up, they'll create a ceiling-like effect. So a lot more landscaping, you know, the brick improved, widened sidewalks, and just nice little spaces for people to enjoy. Each block will have a mid crosswalk, and then they'll also have a neat, unique identifying space in the center for people to congregate. So a lot of great physical and aesthetic improvements.
Right. Randy, can you tell us, I know in the 3 different roundabouts where the intersections are now, Can you tell us how they'll look different at the end of this project?
Yeah, one of the most unique features about the next phase of the streetscape will be the 3 roundabouts. And you have roundabouts at Mulberry, at Chestnut, and at Walnut. And Walnut will be kind of the main identity feature, where there'll be a grand granite fountain that will be placed there with slabs of granite. It will be placed in the middle, surrounded by cobblestone pavers. It will be very attractive and will be functional. All of our roundabouts are designed for a tractor trailer to be able to go around and actually do a U-turn through the Center Street
And they will
area.
be very wide then.
So it'll be very functional and will also be very attractive. The 2 other roundabouts at Mulberry and at Chestnut will have some type of art. We're still working on the type of art that would go there, but there'd be a platform and we could rotate the art in and out and work with local artists to have a unique local flair to the project with their art being on display.
Wonderful. Well, I'll tell you, as you travel across North Carolina, and now that we're in the middle of this project or have begun this project, I find myself looking at art all over the state and the country to sort of see what would look good in Goldsboro. So it will be exciting to see how different it looks and how that fountain is going to be absolutely beautiful in the middle of downtown Goldsboro, and how much beauty and interest that's going to bring along with the artwork. It's going to be interesting.
It is going to be interesting.
It sure is.
I suspect, you know, at the Main Street Managers Conference last week, and we were in Waynesville, and it's a very small downtown. It's just one main corridor, probably about 4 blocks long. But they have a lot of public art in there, and it was interesting to watch people stop and get their pictures taken in front of them. And I suspect that we're going to have that same issue at the roundabout on Center and Walnut Street.
I think
with the
so
fountain.
too. It's going to be very interesting moving forward. It's such a pretty place and add a lot of interest to downtown. Well, Mark, will you tell us a little more about what has happened? It's only been a week. Typically we do these video updates every 2 weeks, but we're a week out now. You've been working on construction. Tell us when it began and what has happened, and then let's move forward for the next 2 weeks. What can people expect to happen and what can they expect to see going on downtown?
Okay. The 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, last Wednesday, we started on the project, and we came out and we put the 4-way stops up at the intersection, got the lights flashing, put up signs that forewarned people that there was a traffic pattern change ahead, came in and striped the site to put arrows on the road to show people which direction to drive. Then we also began putting up the fences down on the south lane from Mulberry all the way down to Spruce Street, and closing off those areas where we could get in and work in those 100, 200, and 300 block.
Right.
Then we came in over the weekend, removed the trees in the median, removed the trees on the south side there in front of the businesses at the sidewalk, and we've been disconnecting the lights, getting the light poles ready to come out, and then we have now started removing the asphalt, which we've gone all the way down one side, removing the asphalt. We're going as far as the west side of the southbound lane. Now we're going to move over to the east side of the southbound lane and remove that asphalt all the way down. Then we'll come up and start taking the concrete out that's underneath of the asphalt so that our water crew can get in and start on their water. They'll be out the 2nd of September is when they'll be starting. And that's pretty much it as far as what we've done the last week.
So the main thing that the public has seen is a lot of demolition going on in the middle of Center Street. We've seen flashing lights for our flashlights at every intersection, stop signs up there at every intersection, and anything I'm missing?
A new traffic pattern.
A new traffic pattern, and that we need to really pay attention to.
Right.
And we need to really also pay attention to where you can and cannot park during the different phases of as the traffic changes, correct?
Right.
Okay, so now moving forward.
Starting on the 2nd of September, that's when our water crew is going to come out. We'll continue on with the demo that we're doing, but our water crew will come out and we'll be putting the water lines in across the intersection of Mulberry and Center Street on the southbound lane. So we will be closing down the intersection for at the most 4 days so that we can put that line across, because it goes right through the middle of the intersection and starts down Mulberry Street, heading west on Mulberry Street, or down Mulberry Street. So we'll be putting that in, and then that'll free us up to go ahead and start with the main water line down in front of the businesses. Now, we won't be tearing out the asphalt there. We'll just be cutting the asphalt out where we're actually installing the lines, and then we'll be backfilling that back with stone, bringing it back up to grade level, and then the remainder of the asphalt will stay in there so that those intersections you can still drive across, and it'll be mostly asphalt. There will be some areas where stone is put in where we've made our water line connections. And we'll be running the water lines down. We should be, the following week, we should be able to get our water lines down in front of the first block of businesses, plus making our rough end tie-ins over for the water meters and putting in some of the fire lanes. And then the following week, which we'll talk about next time.
Okay. We don't want too much information all
right.
at one time, right?
So Mark, this work that's going to be happening with the water lines and the installation of them, this is the new water lines. The businesses right now won't be interrupted with water service for some time until you get the water lines all the way down to Spruce Street.
We have to get the water all the way down to Spruce, get it connected, and get it pressurized and tested. And then once the testing is clear, then we can start making
The individual
connections.
connections. And those connections, I know there were some comments and concerns about that at our 2 public meetings that we held last week, but those connections should generally take no more than an hour.
Right. We'll seek a 2-hour window to put them in, but it's not that we're shutting down everybody. We'll do it individually, building at a time, and we'll set it up and tell them that we're looking to do your water connection on such and such a day, at such and such a time. Your water may be down from this point to that point, and as soon as we shut it off, we go in and tell them, okay, we've got you shut off. We make the connection, we turn it back on, we go in and say, you're good to go, the water's on. So, but it's an individual building. We don't shut down the whole block and try to make all the connections at one time.
So it's very individualized, it
Right.
sounds like.
Very individualized and only about a 2-hour time frame. Very good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so as things are happening over the next 2 weeks, you all have a lot of communication, and DGDC has a tremendous amount of communication with our downtown businesses to make sure they are constantly informed and updated day by day on what's happening, so they understand, they can ask questions, share their concerns, and then we try to make as many adjustments as is possible to make it as easy and accessible for them and for people to go downtown and shop at their business. Any more concerns with that, Julie?
Well, I think our primary message, like I said, mentioned, we had 2 public meetings. Last week we had one at noon and one at 5-ish, just to covering the same material, just wanted to have it convenient as possible to the merchants and property owners. But I guess the message that we want to share is, give us the opportunity to help you throughout this. And we know it's going to be inconvenient. We know there's going to be some disruption in their typical patterns and how they do business. And we can't help you unless we know about your issues and concerns. And so we just ask that you give us the opportunity to help you if the need arises. And so,
and the best way to get in touch with us would be email, phone calls, come to City Hall, whatever means is necessary. We want to know what your concerns are and how we can better help you through this project. But you're right, if we don't know about it, we can't make any adjustments and try to help you and keep it as smooth as possible.
Right.
This is very merchant-friendly project as much as possible.
Exactly. So, but the 2-week videos that we'll be having, we'll be in constant contact with the merchants. We have a merchants association downtown that's very active and great at helping us to disseminate information. And they are taking an extremely positive approach and are looking at this project in a great fashion.
Right. And they're looking at the long-term results.
They're looking at the long-term results, and so. But and one of our messages to them at these meetings was, based on experience from the first phase and all the rumors and concerns that went into that project before it started was, we would hear some really off-the-wall, unrealistic things that people were hearing on the street. So we ask you, it doesn't do anybody good, us, the property owners, business owners, throughout this project, to be, sharing incorrect or incorrect information, period. And so if they have any concerns about what they're hearing on the street, it doesn't sound anything like what we've been telling them, just come to us and let us know so we can stop that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Randy, I know you head up this project. You're here every day. You and Julie together are hand in hand working on this project. You're updated on what's happening at all times. So instead of going out on the street and trying to talk with individuals out there that are actually working and making it dangerous for the merchants, or just citizens in general, we ask that people come to City Hall, email us here at City Hall, Randy, Julie, whomever you would like to share the information with or share your concerns with. We would like to hear from you.
Yeah, and we are updating the Streetscape website page.
Absolutely.
We had a dedicated page on the city website for Phase 1, and we're updating the information on that currently, and it should be up shortly. But there is a submit question form.
That's right.
Questions, comments, whatever, and it'll go directly to City Hall and disseminated to the appropriate person to respond.
So if you go to the city's website, goldsboronc.gov, right there on the home page, in the next day or two, you will see Streetscape project. Right there on the home page, you can click on that. It'll take you directly to all the information you could possibly want to know. We have tried to cover anything and everything that revolves around this project and trying to answer your questions as best we can. But there is going to be a question information page where you can just submit your questions right there, and it will come directly to us, and we'll get back with you excuse me, as soon as possible. Well, guys, it's exciting. Things are moving forward. I can't believe we're finally here. Day by day, we're excited, and we're taking pictures, and we're trying to keep videos updated for you all, and all this will be right there on the Streetscape page. One more time, it's goldsboronc.gov. That's the city's website. Daily, we also post updated pictures on the city's Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. So also DGDC has the same thing. It's what is the name of yours? Downtown Goldsboro?
Downtown Goldsboro. You just type in Google Downtown Goldsboro and you'll get to our website.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We appreciate all the information. We'll be back again in 2 weeks to keep you informed. Hope you enjoy what's happening downtown. Let's look forward to the future, and that's what's happening in your community.